In the previous step 3, we changed our overall Arnold render settings to give us a much cleaner image, and we weighed up the cost of these in terms of render time versus quality, and these are what I settled on, but you will settle on different ones for your project that you need to render. So what we're going to look at now is setting up the common tab. So scroll to the top. The common tab is setting things like the file output and the resolution. So you can just do exactly as I do and it will work fine. First thing to note is at the top here, Maya shows you the path where this is going to save. So this is saving into a project folder called week 7, because that's what these tutorials link to in my teaching week, and they're going to save into the images folder. So you need to make sure that you're working with a Maya project and that you've set the project correctly, because this is where Maya is going to save them. Okay. The first thing we need to do is set the file name. So what I like to do is right click here and choose scene, and then I'm going to put a /, right click again and choose scene. What this is going to do is, if I click out of it onto something else, Maya's going to update it here. It's going to make a folder which is the exact name of the scene that I'm using, and then it's going to, inside that, create my EXR file with that same name as well. This just means that every time you save your scene, Maya will automatically take that. You don't have to keep updating it here, which is really clever, and also it means that you know exactly which scene your renders have come from. So if you need to go back to a render and you need to know which scene you rendered it from, you'll know if you name it like this. Image format for your CGI production project, we're going to use in an EXR. Frame and animation, we are going to use name.number.extension, and that's going to put the name of the scene dot the number of the frame dot the EXR extension. Frame padding is just how many numbers Maya uses here. So we're rendering 100 frames, so we would end up with 0100 as our last frame. If you're rendering 1,000 frames, you will want to up the frame padding, but we're going to leave it at 4. Start and end frame, really important that you set those. So I'm rendering 100 frames. If you are doing 6 seconds for your turntable for the CGI production project, you would set that to 150, because we're using 25 frames per second. Cameras. Now, we only want to render one camera. We don't want to render the perspective camera, so I'm just going to hit the little trash icon there, and then we just get one single camera, and that's correct. I want it to be my turntable camera. Resolution, we're going to be rendering at HD 1080, so if we click that, Maya will automatically update that, and we can leave the resolution for the pixels per inch at 72. And that's everything for the common tab. So if you set it like that and you make sure that your render setting is set correctly, then you will do absolutely fine with your render.